It's amazing what you can do with yards of fabric, but you'd never guess how hard it is to find a pure white. Even my shirt thought it was white. His biggest sculpture is this 50-foot humpback whale. It weighs 4,400 pounds, and they had to cut it up into 8 pieces just to get it through the front door. Doctors say if you do choose to use a hoverboard, wear one of these, just like you should if you're riding a skateboard or a scooter. The cool thing about the nail program is you can start when you're a junior and get 300 hours by the time you graduate. And right after that, you can go work professionally in a salon.
The National Weather Service is predicting below average water levels this year, even though we're still seeing valley snow in March. 11 News reporter Lauren King is live in Provo to explain why levels are dipping and what that means for us. Lauren, it doesn't seem like this is possible with the weather we've been having lately.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but there's actually a little bit of snowflakes falling right now. It's been snowing and raining on and off this past week, and it's almost April. The Utah Division of Water Resources says that one average year of water can't make up for the last 15 years of drought. They say that this year's looking good, but it probably won't hit average. Spring began a week ago, and the mountains are still covered in snow. The valleys even saw a sprinkling of white over the past few days. But the Utah Division of Water Resources says don't let that fool you.
We're looking at a B or A, maybe even as high as an A- year. But all of the other really low water years, it really brings the average down.
The National Weather Service agrees, saying the last 4 years of poor performance means the soil beneath all that snow is dry and will act just like a sponge during runoff season.
So when this snow starts to melt, what we're going to see are losses going into the soil, into the groundwater, and not showing up in the streams.
They estimate this year's water levels to reach about 70% of average, which means we won't see much change in the lakes and reservoirs, even though there's more water than last year. There is some good news. They say conservation efforts have made a huge difference during the drought.
People didn't use the stored water in the reservoir. They used rainwater for their irrigation, and that helped out a great deal.
Both say the uncertainty that always comes with Utah's water supply and a future of population growth means we'll need to continue cutting back our water use.
This year's looking good. Let's not waste it.
The Utah Division of Water Resources says that watering your lawn is the biggest water waster, and it's also the easiest problem to fix. Live in Provo, Lauren King, 11 News.
So Lauren, how then do we know the right amount of water to use in our yard?
So the Division of Water Resources actually has a Facebook page where they will post a chart that breaks down day to day how much you should water, when you should water, but they do say that we shouldn't be watering in the spring at all.
Good to know. Thanks, Lauren. An update on yesterday's Belgian terror attacks. U.S. State Department authorities say that 12 Americans were injured. That number includes the 3 LDS missionaries from Utah we told you about yesterday. 11 News reporter Lauren King is live in the newsroom. Lauren, bring us up to date.
Well, Brooke, church officials are now saying that a French sister missionary was also injured in the attack yesterday. They say all 4 are being treated and improving.
We're on pins and needles every phone call.
It's the worst nightmare for any parent of a missionary.
You feel helpless.
Elder Mason Wells was one of 4 LDS missionaries injured in the bombings at the Brussels airport in Belgium. 19-year-old Wells and his companion Elder Joe Empey, along with senior Elder Richard Norby, were taking Sister Fanny Rachel Klein to catch a flight to Ohio for her own mission when they were caught in the explosions.
They're doing okay. They've been taken care of.
The Paris, France mission president says all were hospitalized but are recovering. For the Wells family, this seems like deja vu. In 2013, Elder Wells was in the middle of the Boston Marathon bombings, though he wasn't injured. This time, the Sandy native suffered from burns and shrapnel injuries, as well as a ruptured Achilles tendon. He was well enough to let friends and family know he's on the mend.
Okay. And tell me about your head, honey.
The Wells say hearing their son's voice was a relief, but also a reality check.
We need to come together as humanity and not pull ourselves apart.
Elder Empey is recovering from similar shrapnel and burn wounds, and Sister Klain suffered minor cuts and burns. 66-year-old Elder Norby also suffered burns and shrapnel injuries and is in a medically induced coma while he heals. Live in the newsroom, Lauren King, 11 News.
Definitely a horrifying event. Do officials know who was behind it yet?
Well, ISIS claims to be behind the bombing, and Belgian police have identified 2 suspects in the attack, brothers Khalid and Brahim El Bakrawi. They are still looking for a 3rd man.
All right, thanks, Lauren.
Steph Curry may be entertaining on the court, but Curry's 2-year-old daughter isn't afraid to steal the spotlight. The duo appeared together for Curry's post-game interview during the Western Conference Finals, and reporters walked away talking about Riley, not her dad. Let's go outside Oracle Arena, where 11 Sports reporter Aaron O'Sullivan is live in Oakland. With the details, Aaron? Welcome back, Cougar fans. Wearing all green didn't bring UAB any luck last night against our Cougars. The men's basketball team hit the court at home for the first round of the NIT, and they were on a roll. You'd think the hoops were full of gold with how many rainbows hit that net. The threes were raining in all night long. From Chase Fisher to Nick Emery, even big man Kyle Davis was hitting from downtown. Kyle Collinsworth was all over the floor, posting his 12th career double-double with 19 points, 10 rebounds, and 12 assists. The Cougs were able to overcome a run by the Blazers in the second half that cut a 20-point lead to 4. The lucky number, 97. UAB had 79.